The other confirmed injury news, Giants running back Saquon Barkley will miss the rest of the season after suffering a torn ACL on Sunday. The team announced Barkley will undergo surgery soon. When you heard this news about Saquon tearing his ACL out for the season, your reaction was what, Pete?
Terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. When we saw it, we watched it, it was bad, and you never want to hear a running back suffer an ACL. Well, you never want to hear anybody suffer an ACL injury, but when you hear it's a running back, it's even more concerning. These guys need stable knees, and it's going to be a long process to get him back. We've seen guys come back. Adrian Peterson came back, and there's been many others over the years who have come back from ACLs, but are you ever really the same? That's the question. You have to wonder about Saquon Barkley, one of the top running backs in the league, can do it all, can run inside, can run outside, can catch the football, and this is a damning blow for the New York Giants. I mean, the offense is built around him, even though he wasn't off to a great start. The offense is built around him. Now teams will defend him differently.
Just terrible situation, you know, when you look at it from a fantasy perspective for a guy that was, for the most part, a top 3 overall pick, many cases the 2nd overall selection in every format, PPR, non-PPR, it didn't matter. The expectations were through the roof for Barkley based on how he performed in his rookie season, how he ended his 2nd year after battling through an ankle injury. And when you saw him limp off the field, you thought, okay, maybe it's an ankle or he just sprained his knee. The fact that you don't have him for the rest of the year, there is no direct replacement for him on the Giants. We'll see if they're going to sign Devontae Freeman, but Dion Lewis and Wayne Gallman do not do Saquon Barkley things. So you're scrambling to find somebody on the waiver wire. You're going to look to Mike Davis, who's now stepping up with Christian McCaffrey's injury. He's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks, so Davis has an audition to maybe be that guy for the remainder of time that McCaffrey's out. You're going to look at Darrell Henderson, a guy on the Rams who could step up with some injuries to their backfield. Jerick McKinnon could be somebody you look at with some injuries in the 49ers backfield. So we're looking at scrambling to find a replacement for Saquon Barkley. The bottom line is there's no replacing Saquon Barkley on the Giants and on your fantasy roster as well.
What is your level of concern, Pete, for Saquon coming back from an ACL injury? He's only 23. We've seen Adrian Peterson do it, but he might be a completely separate conversation, what he's been able to do. Do you feel like this could really hinder his career moving forward?
You know, 40, 30 years ago, this would have been a terrible thing for a running back, but medicine has come a long way. It's still a grueling process to get back to where you were and who you were as a running back, but it's possible. And I think with the way the medicine is nowadays and the ACL repairs have really taken big steps forward, I think he'll come back and be the same guy. But you never can just assume that. If you sit here and say, oh, I know he's going to be the same guy, you have no idea. We don't know if he's going to be worse. We don't know if he's going to be the same guy. We don't know if he'll be better. But it's always concerning when a running back, at his age even, suffers an ACL injury.
If there is a silver lining to this, it's the fact that it happened in week 2, and you can get back in time for off-season workouts and training camp. Like Pete said, medicine is different. Adrian Peterson showed you he got hurt at the end of a season and was back ready for week 1 the following year. And we're talking about this, that was what, like 5-7 years ago when Peterson first suffered his ACL tear. So the injury has not been as devastating as it has been in years past, but you never know what happens following surgery. As the Alex Smith scenario showed you, infections happen, things could sort of cause a setback. So we could be looking at a prolonged absence, but I'm going to guess that he's going to be ready for the start of week 1 in 2021. And for fantasy, when you talk about dynasty leagues or long-term keeper leagues, if you're looking at the Barkley fantasy manager and saying, okay, that team is lost, let me see if I could give that person some help, and I'll take Barkley cheaper than he ever will be and see if he can get back to being that guy in 2021, and you have the opportunity to sort of take that chance on a guy who could still be a star. So I'm expecting he'll be back for the start of next season. Hopefully he'll be the same guy, and you just got to hope that youth and time are right now on his side.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.